Listen. I watched my neighbor cry last spring. Not because her roses died but because her knees finally gave out, and she realized she might never kneel in her garden again. She was 78. But here's what broke my heart even more: everything that happened to her could have been prevented 15 years earlier with 5 simple adjustments. And if you're over 60 right now, or getting close, what I'm about to share could mean the difference between thriving in your garden at 85, or watching it from your window with regret. Welcome to Earthly Gardening, where we prove you don't need deep pockets to grow deep roots. Whether this is your first time here or you've been with us since the beginning, I'm so glad you're spending part of your day with me. To my returning friends, your support means everything. And to anyone discovering us today, hit that subscribe button because we're building a community of gardeners who refuse to let budgets or birthdays stop us from doing what we love. Now, before we dig in, do me a quick favor. If you're over 55, or you know someone who is, share this video with them right now. What we're covering today isn't just helpful, it could genuinely change the next 2 decades of someone's gardening life. Alright, let's get into it. Here's what nobody tells you about gardening after 60. It's not that your body suddenly stops working. It's that the way you've always gardened starts working against you. You've spent 30, maybe 40 years doing things a certain way: bending, kneeling, lifting, reaching, and your body kept up. But somewhere between 60 and 70, there's this invisible shift. The tasks that used to take 20 minutes now take an hour. The soreness that disappeared overnight now lingers for days. And suddenly, the garden you built with your own hands starts to feel like it belongs to someone younger. But I'm here to tell you something important: you don't have to give up your garden. You just need to redesign your relationship with it. And that starts today, not at 75 when the damage is already done. These 5 changes I'm sharing aren't about making your garden smaller or easier or less beautiful. They're about making it sustainable so you can still be out there, hands in the soil, at 80, 85, even 90 years old. Let's jump into the first one. Change 1: raise your garden beds to waist height. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Raised beds? That's not new advice. And you're right. But here's where everyone gets it wrong: they raise their beds 6 inches, maybe 12, and call it a day. That's not high enough. If you want to protect your knees, your back, and your hips for the next 20 years, your garden beds need to come up to waist height somewhere between 28 and 36 inches depending on your height. Why? Because every single time you bend over, you're compressing your spine. You're straining your lower back. You're putting pressure on knees that are already dealing with decades of wear. Do that 50 times in an afternoon, and you're not just sore, you're creating chronic issues that'll haunt you for years. Waist height beds eliminate all of that. You stand upright. You work comfortably. And here's the bonus nobody mentions: you'll actually enjoy gardening more because you're not dreading the pain that comes after. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but that sounds expensive. It doesn't have to be. Skip the fancy kits. Use cinder blocks, reclaimed wood, or even stack old pallets and line them with landscape fabric. I've seen stunning waist height beds built for under $50. The investment you make now is nothing compared to what you'll pay in physical therapy bills later, or worse, the cost of losing your garden entirely. Change 2: switch to drip irrigation or soaker hoses. Let's talk about watering. If you're still dragging hoses around your yard or standing there with a watering can for 30 minutes every evening, we need to have a serious conversation. Because of that repetitive motion, pulling hoses, lifting watering cans, twisting your body to reach every plant, that's destroying your shoulders and wrists. And I'm not just talking about discomfort. I mean real damage. Rotator cuff injuries. Tendinitis. Arthritis gets worse every season. You might not feel it dramatically right now, but at 70, 75, those injuries catch up fast. Here's your solution: drip irrigation or soaker hoses. Set them up once, put everything on a timer, and let the system do the work. Your plants get consistent moisture, you save water, and most importantly, you save your body. But isn't that complicated to install? Not even a little bit. You don't need to hire anyone. Basic drip systems come with everything you need, and you can set up a small garden in under an hour. YouTube has 1,000 tutorials. And if you want to keep it even simpler, soaker hoses are literally just hoses with tiny holes. You lay them down, connect them to your outdoor faucet, and you're done. The time to make this change is now, while you still have the mobility to set it up yourself. Don't wait until lifting a hose becomes impossible. Quick pause if you're finding this helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button. It tells YouTube to share this with more gardeners who need it. And drop a comment below telling me which of these changes you're going to try first. I read every single one, and I love hearing from you. Alright, let's keep going. Change 3, replace high-maintenance plants with perennial powerhouses. This one's going to sting a little, but it needs to be said, those annuals you replant every single spring? They're stealing years from your gardening life. Think about it. Every year, you're buying flats of petunias, marigolds, impatiens. You're digging, planting, watering obsessively to get them established. Then they die at the first frost, and you start all over again the next year. That cycle is exhausting at 40. At 70, it's unsustainable. Here's the shift, move to perennials that come back year after year without you lifting a finger. We're talking hostas, daylilies, black-eyed Susans, coneflowers, sedum, Russian sage. These plants establish strong root systems, they handle drought, they don't need constant attention, and they get more beautiful as they mature just like you. And before you say, but I love the color annuals give me, listen, perennials can be just as vibrant. You just need to choose the right varieties and layer your planting so something's always blooming from spring through fall. This isn't about lowering your standards. It's about working smarter. Let your plants do the heavy lifting while you enjoy the results. Plant perennials now, and in 5 years, you'll have a garden that practically takes care of itself. Change 4, invest in lightweight, ergonomic tools. Your tools matter more than you think. If you're still using the same heavy steel shovel you bought in 1985, it's time for an upgrade. Because the weight of your tools directly impacts how long you can garden and how you feel afterward. Lightweight tools, especially ones made from aluminum or fiberglass, reduce the strain on your wrists, elbows, and shoulders. Ergonomic handles with cushioned grips prevent blisters and joint pain. And extendable tools mean you can prune, weed, and harvest without bending or overstretching. Here's a specific recommendation: get a lightweight hori-hori knife. It's a Japanese gardening tool that does the work of 5 different tools. You can dig, weed, cut, divide plants, all with one simple blade. It weighs almost nothing, and it'll save your hands. Also, ditch the traditional hose nozzle and get a watering wand with a trigger lock. It's longer, lighter, and you can water hanging baskets or deep beds without climbing or straining. None of this has to cost a fortune. Check garage sales, estate sales, or online marketplaces. Plenty of people upgrade their tools and sell the old ones for next to nothing. Your body will thank you every single time you step into the garden. Change 5, create rest zones throughout your garden. Here's the final change, and it might be the most important one: build places to rest directly into your garden design. Not a bench at the edge where you go when you're finished. I'm talking about rest zones scattered throughout places where you can sit down for 2 minutes, catch your breath, and keep working without having to trek back to the house. Why does this matter? Because fatigue is what ends most gardening sessions prematurely. You push yourself too hard, you get tired, and instead of resting for a moment, you pack it in for the day. Over time, those shortened sessions add up, and you spend less and less time doing what you love. A simple bench under a tree. A folding stool you keep in your shed. A flat stone positioned near your vegetable beds. These tiny additions let you pace yourself. You work for 15 minutes, sit for 3, then get back to it. You stay out longer. You accomplish more. And you don't wreck your body in the process. Here's a creative idea: build a potting bench with a built-in seat. You can pot plants, organize seeds, and rest all in one spot. Use reclaimed wood, and you'll spend maybe $30. The gardeners I know who are still active in their 80s all have one thing in common: they've learned to listen to their bodies and give themselves permission to rest. Build that habit now. So there you have it. 5 changes that sound simple, maybe even obvious, but I promise you most people don't make them until it's too late. Raising your beds. Automating your watering. Choosing smarter plants. Upgrading your tools. And creating space to rest. Do these things now, and you're not just gardening at 80. You're thriving at 80. Your garden should grow with you, not against you. It should be a source of joy, not pain. And every single one of these changes brings you closer to that reality. If this resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment telling me what you're changing first. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. We've got so much more coming to help you garden smarter, longer, and cheaper. Thank you so much for being here. Now get out there, make these changes, and I'll see you in the next one.